Yeah, I think when we would have had a draw over here, we would have been already the lucky one, and that is clear for everyone. I think they were the much better team today, especially in the first half. They had a lot of open chances, 3 or 4 big chances. In the second half, they were still the better team, still had a lot of shots on target, but they were mainly from outside the box. But I knew before the game, and I saw it today again, how much quality this team has and these individual players have. So all these shots from them from outside the box are with a certain speed that you only see with the top players. We have them as well, but you see that with them as well. That's why Alisson still had to make a lot of big saves. We were lucky with the first half that the goal was fractionally offside. I was very happy that in a difficult circumstances over here, the referee wasn't impressed. That's not always in away games the situation. And yeah, in the end we were already in the game 3, 4, 5 times. I felt like, we can hurt them in transition, but we didn't. But we waited till the last moment, and then we hurt them.
Can you sort of what a moment as well that was for Harvey coming on and scoring so soon after? Given it's like a game time at times.
Yeah, a big moment for him. I can understand that he's sometimes frustrated about the playing time he gets because he's a good player. He showed at Liverpool already that he's a good player, but he's in competition with players that I hardly take off. So Dominic Szoboszlai is always the one that just keeps on going, also score goals, but he's so important for us with all the running he does. And yeah, Mo Salah is, I think, quite clear for everyone as well. So he has to do it with limited playing time, but he just keeps on going. I have to give him big compliments for that. Also my staff, because they keep working with him. And every time come up with great exercises so he stays fit. But it wasn't only Harvey, it was also the one that assisted, Darwin Núñez, who came from a difficult 2 games, but was absolutely there again tonight, because from the moment he came in, we were more of a threat than before.
I appreciate it will be different at Anfield with the atmosphere, but what does tonight tell you about the task you still have ahead of you?
Now, what it tells me is that we are. Of course, 1-0 win. If you have seen the game, it's a very good result for us. But we also felt the quality of Paris Saint-Germain. And I knew it before. They've won 10 times in a row, scored goal after goal after goal. Incredible pace with the wingers. So every underlying stat shows you that they are the best team in the Champions League. So we were the league table, won it, but they were in the underlying stats the best team. So I wasn't surprised that they were so good. So we're definitely going to need our fans in a week's time.
Arne, is it fair to say it was the toughest opposition you've had this season? And if yes, is it because of PSG's performance, or is it also due to the fact that your team, let's put it mildly, were under par tonight?
That they were?
Under par.
No, we were not under par. It's pure the quality of Paris Saint-Germain and the way they've played this whole season. I can say it one more time. All the underlying stats show you that they were the best team in Europe till now, except for the league table. But they've had Arsenal, they've had Bayern Munich, they've played Atletico Madrid, and they've played Man City, and still have the best underlying stats. And they show today. And I already knew it, but the players saw it today as well, and our fans and whole of England, that Luis Enrique made an incredible team here after 3 windows. So much pace, so much work rate, so much quality in the midfield, how they handle the ball. So it was an unbelievable challenge for us to get away here with a result, and we know it's going to be a hard one in a week.
Yeah, so Liverpool captain Virgil Van Dijk, they're feeling positive about taking the lead back to Anfield, and he says they have their goalkeeper to thank.
He's the best goalkeeper in the world. I've mentioned it obviously many times in the past, and he showed it again today on the highest stage. A lot of shots from distance, in my opinion, but he was there. He was there to save us, and yeah, we put ourselves in a good position for next week.
Right, so Nick back with us to discuss this Liverpool win. All the headlines in the newspapers. smash and grab. It was the ultimate definition of that almost, wasn't it?
It absolutely was, wasn't it? Yeah, an incredible spectacle, wasn't it? PSG so dominant for so much of the game, peppering that Liverpool goal with shots. But of course, Liverpool held out and got that winner through Harvey Elliott. Yeah, quite incredible game. And we can see the difference in performance levels or performances in these match stats here. So PSG had 70% of the possession. That's the lowest percentage possession Liverpool have had all season. They had 27 shots, PSG. Again, that's the most Liverpool have had under Arne Slot this season. 10 of those shots were on target. Alisson with some huge saves, of course. See touches in the box there as well. PSG on 52 to Liverpool's 13. And generally, yeah, very dominant in terms of chances and possession. But, of course, it was Liverpool who emerged with the win.
The only stat that matters, that one, isn't it, really, in the end? Player of the match, I mean, absolutely never in doubt. Nick Alisson called it himself probably the best performance of his life. And goodness me, it was.
Yeah, it was absolutely incredible, wasn't it? 9 saves in the game from him in total. The most on record by a Liverpool goalkeeper in a Champions League game. It really just underlines how special that performance was. There were some incredible stops, weren't there? You think of that Desiree Doué shot that he pushed around the post in the second half in particular, but so many and an outstanding performance from him. Yeah, absolutely.
Just showing how important he is to Liverpool. And actually, you know, there's a lot of talk as well, isn't there, about how important he is, but lots of discussion about Salah, Virgil van Dijk, Trent Alexander's futures. How about Alisson?
Well, yeah,
as well?
He is equally important, isn't he? And we can see the difference again in the number of shots here. So here we have the 27 shots Liverpool faced last night. I mean, most of them came from distance, as Arne Slot said after the game. But you can see there the sheer number of shots at his goal compared to Liverpool's, only the 2 shots. But that solitary star there is the one that matters, isn't it? Because that was Harvey Elliott's goal. But yeah, there's no doubt Alisson is hugely important to the team, absolutely. And of course, here we have the options that Liverpool have, or at least will have next season. Mamardashvili over there on the far side, joining from Valencia. Now, there was some talk that when he came in, he might be taking over from Alisson as number 1. But I think last night showed that this man is very much at the peak of his powers, even at 32. And I'd be very surprised if Mamardashvili goes straight into the team. Of course, they have Kelleher as well. But this man looks like the main man. He's contracted until 2027. So, yeah, he remains an absolutely crucial player for them. And as he said himself, he had the game of his life last night.
Yeah, he absolutely did. Another great night. Harvey Elliott, Arne Slot made a big call, taking off Salah with that 5 minutes to go. And of course, Elliott made the difference. And he told us he wants to get the opportunities more often.
There are moments within the season where, you know, I am getting angry, I am getting frustrated because I want to play. But at the same time, you know, I need to respect the situation. I need to respect the manager's decisions. And, you know, some games I'm needed, some games I'm not. That's just how football is. And, you know, that's why I feel like we're in the position that we are in this season so far, because of his decisions. And you know, tonight was another one of them where, you know, it's worked in our favour, and luckily I was the chosen one, you could say, to come in and get the match winner.
I'm sure he'll be hoping to be chosen more regularly as well and get a bit more game time. I know he was hampered with injury. There was talk of him leaving in January, but he showed how important he is, how passionate he is, and such a great moment for him. Yeah,
fantastic. Only 47 seconds between his introduction and the goal. He scored with his first touch, and yeah, fantastic moment for him in what has been a difficult season, hasn't it? He hasn't played as much as he would like, as he says himself, and we can see how his playing time has dropped off with these stats here. So under Klopp last season, we have his numbers for last season here, and then his numbers for this season on the far side there. And you can see that he played much more last season, 53 appearances last season, a really healthy number of minutes played. He played 52.8% of Liverpool's minutes. And then you compare that to this season, of course, as you said, Hayley, he has had an injury that sidelined him for a good few weeks earlier in the season, but only 18 appearances so far, only 507 minutes played. And even when he has been fit, he generally hasn't been favoured. So he's only played 12.8% 50% of Liverpool's minutes. But what's interesting is that next row there. So even with those limited minutes, he still has managed to score 4 goals, which is the same number he managed in the whole of last season. So he is still showing his importance, even with that limited playing time.
Yeah, interesting. Right, the win puts Liverpool, I mean, in a really commanding position going into the second leg at Anfield next Tuesday, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it? It does. So this is an interesting stat here. This the last time they won the first leg of a Champions League tie and then been knocked out in the second leg is in 2001, 2002. Wow. So it hasn't happened for a very, very long time. And the second leg in that instance was away from Anfield. So they've never actually suffered that fate when they've had the second leg at Anfield. And here's their record in the Champions League after winning the first leg in knockout games. So they've played 15 games. They've won 8, they've drawn 3, and they've lost 4. Most of those losses, though, as we said before, haven't been costly. So they do generally fare well when winning the first leg, and I think they are in a really good position. However good PSG showed themselves to be last night, that is a really important goal from Elliott, and they are strong favourites, I'd say.
Yeah, they'll be looking forward to that next week. We're looking forward as well to play.
Can you remember a game like this season where you've had to face that many opportunities and defend as well as you did tonight?
Well, City second half, it's pretty easy, yeah. I think, you know, we obviously didn't have the ball that much. I don't think they created that many chances, to be honest. But yeah, listen, you have to find a way. You have to defend with everything you had, and they have the quality. They are world-class players, especially on the front line, and they can make a difference. And we did well. We need obviously Ali to be outstanding again, classic Alisson. But you know, those nights are also very important towards big dreams. So we have to keep going. On to the next.
Well, PSG had 27 attempts in that game, 10 on target, but Harvey Elliott off the bench to the rescue with his 3rd goal in 3 Champions League games. We can get some reaction now from the Parc des Princes because Julien Laurens was watching that game this evening, probably shedding a tear at the end there. Jules, do you feel like you've just witnessed a robbery?
Harvey Elliott broke my heart, really, to be fair. I won't lie, I could not believe it. But it's one of those scenarios, we've seen them before, no? When you don't take your chances, dominating is not winning. We know you can be ahead in all the stats. You can outplay your opponent. You can, I mean, I think PSG made Liverpool look quite ordinary at times, certainly with the ball going forward. Defensively, they were solid, and Alisson was amazing, again, one of the best goalkeepers in the world. But Salah and Diaz, Jota, even Szoboszlai to some extent, Gravenberch, didn't really look like the usual Liverpool of this season, really, and that's what PSG forced them to do. They forced them to play long, they forced them to not be at their best, and I thought PSG were really outstanding. This is such a fantastic young team, but it's a young team, and you saw today, if it's not happening for you, 80th minute, 85th minute, just see the game out, get a 0-0 draw from here, and instead this was quite reminiscent of the game against Atletico Madrid in the league phase, where they were super dominant, and at the last kick of the game they conceded the second goal from Atletico, who came here and won 2-1, and it looked like they haven't learned much from that Atletico game because the same happened tonight. Confident, I don't know, Owen, but they certainly have only one way of playing, and home and away they always play the same. This is very much the Luis Enrique style. And yeah, it might be more difficult to put all that in place at Anfield because it's away from home, and Liverpool can't have another game like tonight. This is not Liverpool, really. You don't play like some of the Ligue 1 teams who come here and play quite deep and play on the counter. And this is not the Liverpool that we've been used to. So credit to PSG for that. It was still not enough because they could not beat Alisson. And credit to Liverpool for being resilient and keep believing it. And the changes from Slot worked great. But from a PSG point of view, I thought they were outstanding. Literally, apart from that one challenge that Marquinhos lost against Darwin, and then that led to the goal, and Nuno Mendes is a little bit late after to chase Harvey Elliott. But apart from that mistake, they were outstanding, really, and there's so much positive to take. I know it's difficult tonight, so much positive to take from a PSG point of view from the performance tonight. It's a bit cruel, of course it is. It could have turned their way on some incidents in the game too, but this is football. So the boys would have played so many games like this. So now you get together again, and next week you try to turn it around.
As we all know, football is not always fair. Jules, thanks very much for sticking around to chat to us. It's going to be a fascinating second leg at Anfield next week. Thank you. Well, let's look at that Harvey Elliott goal then, Jolien. Was that the biggest smash and grab you've ever seen?
One of them. Definitely from a Liverpool's point of view, who have been outstanding all season. So to see this performance over the course of 89 minutes was surprising in the first instance, but
and had a big impact on the game. But all you need to do is win a header, literally win a header, play the right pass in the right moment. That leads to the goal. You know, so I think if he probably just simplified his game and slowed it down, I think he could be a huge problem against anyone because I think he has all the attributes. But sometimes you look at Mo Salah, he gets calmer in the big moments. Whereas Darwin, because he's so explosive, he gets quite quick. And I think today he just wins the header. The way to pass is perfect. It allows Harvey to take it first time. But I just think, again, we saw it with Inter. You don't have to play brilliant to win the Champions League. You just got to defend well, have a keeper that keeps you in it. And then the boys at the top of the pitch, they'll win it for you. He's calm, he can play as a 10, but he's a good finisher as well. I think they're so blessed. Klopp left an amazing squad. But they can rotate it. Mo Salah comes off. Mo Salah, most goals, most assists in the Premier League. Obviously, he didn't look happy to come off. But again, then Harvey comes on. And honestly, he just has a feel. That's all football is, players and managers.
It's similar to Real Madrid and Brahim Diaz. We were thinking Jude's a massive miss yesterday, and then Brahim Diaz starts there, and Simeone questions that decision, and all of a sudden he steps up with the winner. So obviously these managers and these young players can contribute.
And for Alisson, the game of his life, probably, he said. Do you think we just saw one of the great goalkeeping performances?
100%. And we've seen him have moments in multiple games making saves like this, but never a collection of this in one game. There's just 7 or 8 top world-class saves. And as you said, Liverpool are a very strong team and able to rely on every aspect of it, whether it's Mo Salah, Virgil van Dijk and Konate as a defensive pair. But tonight they relied on Alisson, and he showed why he's regarded as the best goalkeeper in the world.
What a save that one is. Kvaratskhelia was absolutely unbelievable in the game. It was like a battle between Kvaratskhelia and Dembele against Alisson, and to be fair, Alisson came out on top. But it's just, you know what? I think his starting position is always right, so he's able to make the saves. Whereas I think for Donnarumma, that one he missed. You know, maybe his starting position's not right, but Alisson, when you have a keeper like that, I've never seen a team win the Champions League without a keeper like that. You need it, and I think that's the thing. You look back, you think you got him, you got Van Dijk, that defence. And then the balance in midfield and Mo Salah and the boys at the top of the pitch. It's a perfect recipe to win this thing.
Yeah, he was absolutely outstanding tonight. It was such a one-sided game, though. However, 27 attempts for PSG in that one, 10 on target. Liverpool, just 2 attempts on goal. The one on target was Harvey Elliott's goal, of course, but PSG dominated in every aspect of that game this evening, guys.
Oh, definitely. And I'd probably slightly disagree with Luis Enrique's analysis in terms of it being complete. If they go on to score, then it's the most complete, but it's definitely the most dominant I've seen them. As I said, every aspect of the game, in and out of possession, that they was controlling it until the vital moment.
And just
look at those stats, Jens. I mean, this has probably been the best team in Europe they played against in Liverpool. Blowing everybody away in the Premier League, and they 27 to 2 shots. So stats sometimes tell a story, and they did. PSG dominated this game, didn't take the chance that Alisson had the game of his life, but you don't need many chances, I don't think, to win a game like this when the boys are that good. So PSG will be disappointed, but I thought they were, for a young side, I thought they played with real courage, and that would be a heck of a game going back to Anfield.
There will be, but Liverpool 18 unbeaten at Anfield. They've only lost once there all season to Nottingham Forest earlier. So
the breaking news is a bad injury for Manuel Neuer. He suffered a torn muscle fibre in his right calf. That was in the 3-0 win over Bayer Leverkusen in their game last night. The club says he's going to be out for the foreseeable. So Manuel Neuer, unfortunately, with a really bad injury there, a muscle tear. Right, going to get more reaction on that Liverpool result now, joined by the man who watched the game on Sky Sports News last night. Very good morning to you, Paul. Great to have you with us again.
Morning, Hayley.
We were hearing, weren't we, about Jamie Carragher describing it as the biggest robbery in football. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, in Champions League, I can't, it's hard to remember, like, games from years and years ago. Do you know what I mean? I'm sure it's happened before. I'm definitely sure it's happened before. But over recent years, yeah, absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't believe how good PSG were, if I'm being honest. I don't watch a lot of the French football. You watch PSG over the years when they had their superstars. They used to play with 11 men when they had the ball, and they used to play with 8 men when they didn't have it. But now they're a team. They're a team. They're a very good team. And that's a massive result for Liverpool. I know they never played well, but good teams win football matches when they don't play well.
I mean, we've obviously seen this Liverpool side dominate teams all season. It's the ability to come away with the result in a situation like this. I mean, that's the real achievement, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for Alisson, I mean, I dread to think what the score would have been, and they would have been out the Champions League. There'd have been no doubt about that. Should have been 3 or 4. Konate should have been sent off. For me, I thought it was a stonewall sending off. He's pushed Barcola in the back, and it's a clear opportunity to score a goal. So for me, they rode their luck. Alisson was 10 out of 10. Absolutely unbelievable performance. Everything went Liverpool's way, bar their performance. Their performance was poor, but everything else went their way.
Yeah, I mean, let's stay with Alisson, of course, making all the headlines this morning. So much praise heaped on him. Is he the best goalkeeper in the world right now? That is the question.
I would say so, and I've said it. I think it's not just this game. I think he is the best goalkeeper. I think he's been the best goalkeeper in the world for a few years now. You know, I think when you want to be the best in the world and you're top goalkeeper, I was trying to sit here and think, what kind of mistakes has Alisson made? You know, we've seen with, and I'm a big fan of Ederson, don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of his at Man City. But you can remember his mistakes. He's made mistakes even recently. But with Alisson, I sit there and I think, how many mistakes has he really made? And that's what top goalkeepers do, especially when they have nothing to do usually for 70, 80 minutes of a game. You know, that's the difference between these goalkeepers, his concentration levels. And I just thought yesterday, sometimes, Ailey, goalkeepers have really good games. They make good saves, but you think, well, he should have saved that and he should have saved that. There was 3 or 4 yesterday that were like world-class saves. That if they'd have gone in, you wouldn't have moaned at the goalkeeper.
Yeah. Where then do you reckon he does rank in terms of best goalkeepers in Premier League history?
Well, straight away, I think of Schmeichel, Cech and Seaman. Straight away, I think them 3 are, I might be missing someone out. If I am, I apologise. But them 3 for me, as soon as you said goalkeepers, they were the 3 that come in straight into my head. You know, that are top draw, who had longevity, played at the top level for a long time. So they're the 3 for me. He ain't far off. At all. But that's a conversation he's in with. And I mean, that's a big compliment to be in that conversation with Schmeichel, Cech and Seaman.
He'll be hoping not to be quite as busy in that second leg. How worried should Liverpool be about that after that, PSG performance?
A different game at home. You know, you think of Celtic Park and Anfield as the 2 nights in European football where the atmosphere is electric, it's rocking. It's a different game. We've already seen Liverpool blow Real Madrid away. Do you know what I mean? At home, they're a different team at home. Salah will be, I'm sure Salah will play better at home, even though Mendes is a very good player. But I'd expect Liverpool to go through, but I'm not saying it's a foregone conclusion because I just couldn't believe how good the other team were last night. But as the game went on, the game opened up, you could half see Liverpool getting a chance to nick a goal because they just weren't making that right pass at the right time on the counter-attack. But fair play to Núñez, who I think has got some very unfair stick. You know, it's a great bit of centre-forward play to hold it up and then roll it into Harvey Elliott.
And now Paris Saint-Germain may have dominated, but it's Liverpool who have the lead in their Champions League last 16 tie. Jamie Carragher described their win in Paris as the biggest robbery in football. Why are you laughing so much?
I mean, biggest robbery in football. Well, I did have Alisson to thank. He produced a brilliant performance. So good, in fact. One of his teammates reckons he's the best in the world.
Yeah, there was a nervy moment in the first half, though, when VAR checked for a penalty and a potential red card for Ibrahima Konate. It wasn't given, but was it the right call? Well, Paris Saint-Germain dominated the first half. Ousmane Dembele's pace causing problems as he skipped past 2 challenges before cutting the ball back to João Neves. PSG continues to push for an opening goal, and they thought they had it when Kavica Kvaratskhelia curled his shot past Alisson, but it was ruled offside.
Well, there's the welcome to Paris moment for the big money signing.
Moment of controversy. PSG were then calling for a penalty when Konate pushed Bradley Barcola, but after a VAR check, the penalty wasn't given and Konate avoided a possible red card. The chances kept coming for PSG. First, Dembele was denied by Alisson before Barcola had his initial shot blocked and then put the rebound over the bar. In the second half, Liverpool had Alisson to thank for keeping the match goalless as he pushed a free kick past the post. Alisson continued to deny PSG as he produced another fine save to keep out Desire Doué. But in the 87th minute, Liverpool took the lead when Elliott scored with his first touch. 47 seconds after coming off the bench, they now take a 1-0 lead into their second leg at Anfield next week.
Would have had a draw over here, we would have been already the lucky one, and that is clear for everyone. I think they were the much better team today. Especially in the first half, they had a lot of open chances as well, 3 or 4 big chances. In the second half, they were still the better team, still had a lot of shots on target, but they were mainly from outside the box.
Well, quite remarkable stats from Paris. PSG totally dominant with 27 shots to just 2 for Liverpool.
Quite remarkable we got from there to here that quickly, to be honest.
That was a sprint of note.
But the Premier League leaders will look to take this advantage into Tuesday's second leg.
All the underlying stats show you that they were the best team in Europe till now, except for the league table. But they've had Arsenal, they've had Bayern Munich, they've played Atletico Madrid, and they've played Man City, and still have the best underlying stats. And they showed today, and I already knew it, but the players saw it today as well, and our fans and whole of England, that Luis Enrique made an incredible team here.
Well, Liverpool's victory was summed up by Jamie Carragher, who said it was one of the biggest robberies in football.
Well, the hero for Liverpool was Harvey Elliott, who scored just 46 seconds after coming off the bench.
Luckily, I was the chosen one, you could say, to come in and get the match winner. But as I've said before, we all need to be ready. It's just not me. It's just not the lads that are starting frequently, the lads that are coming in frequently. We're all going to play a part. It's just about staying ready.
I can't get my head around that result. I mean, they were unbelievable, PSG, and Liverpool have gone on and won, but can't wait for the next leg. I mean, it'll be an outstanding, intriguing game.
Just very quickly, Merce, is it one of those situations when you see a game like that and people say name on the trophy, or too early to say?
Too early to say. If they play like that in other games, they could have been blown away. They could have been. Alisson was 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10.
Yeah, a big reason for Liverpool's victory was goalkeeper Alisson, who said he produced the best performance of his career.
Now, Liverpool captain Virgil Van Dijk believes there's no better goalkeeper in football.
He's the best goalkeeper in the world. I've mentioned it obviously many times in the past, and he showed it again today on the highest stage. A lot of shots from distance, in my opinion, but he was there. He was there to save us, and we put ourselves in a good position for next week.
Well, Alisson made 9 saves last night, the most by a Liverpool goalkeeper in a Champions League game since records began in 2003. It's also the most saves he's made for Liverpool in any match for the club in all competitions.
You could make an argument alongside Van Dijk and Salah that he's been the defining player of this Liverpool era, the past sort of 10 years or so.
There's been a lot of talk about his future because Liverpool have a deal lined up for Mamardashvili from Valencia. They also have a very good number 2 in Kelleher. But the one it appears they should be prioritising right now is Alisson. I think he's got a year left on his contract at the end of this season. All the discussion about Salah, Van Dijk, Trent Alexander-Arnold and their potential renewals or not. What about Alisson? Shouldn't he be getting a new deal? Maybe that's one that Liverpool will come on to.
Our big flashpoint in the game was the decision not to penalise Ibrahim Konate after he collided with Bradley Barcola.
The referee saw no foul play on the pitch and VAR agreed, meaning no penalty and no red card to Konate.
If the referee would have given if he would have blown his whistle, the VAR would not have overturned it. And now it was also clear for me that he should not have overturned it because it wasn't clearly wrong. And it is a big decision, that's true.
I felt like what I saw, that it was pretty, for me, I was convinced that it wasn't going to be, but listen, in the end of the day, it's the referee with the VAR that would have to make the decision, and it wasn't, so we carry on.
Well, Liverpool's victory was summed up by Jamie Carragher, who said it was one of the biggest robberies in football.
The hero for Liverpool was Harvey Elliott, who scored just 46 seconds after coming off the bench.
Well, PSG totally dominant with 27 shots to Liverpool's 2. They also had 10 shots on target compared to just 1 for Liverpool, but it was the Premier League leaders who take the advantage into Tuesday's second leg.
Well, let's get more now on Liverpool's victory over Paris Saint-Germain, and we can head to Paris and speak live to our reporter Vinny O'Connor, who's outside the Parc des Princes. Vinny, so great to be chatting to you this morning. Alisson said he put in the performance of his career last night. What have the French media had to say about his player of the match display?
Écœurant is the word that they use to describe it in L'Équipe, and that can mean disgusting. I think in this sense it means more sickening, and it really was a sickener for the PSG fans inside the Parc des Princes last night, particularly as it really gave Liverpool that platform to go and snatch victory in the dying embers of that game. And the comparison is with Donnarumma. So in terms of player ratings, Alisson comes out with a 9 from L'Équipe, but Donnarumma, on the other hand, comes away with a 4. It's actually surprising looking at the ratings as a whole, because Liverpool average between them a point less than PSG. PSG averaging 5.7, Liverpool averaging 4.7, and it's particularly surprising when you consider that the closest mark to Alisson is on a slot. And they say in L'Équipe he did not manage to reverse the balance of power, but his team resisted, notably because of Alisson. Yet his coaching also provided the game-winning moment as well. That was the introduction of Darwin Núñez, who gave the assist, obviously, for Harvey Elliott coming on as a substitute for Mo Salah. Mo Salah takes a bit of stick in here, coming away with just a 3, saying he did not justify his status as the best player in the world at the moment, since he missed almost everything he attempted. Again, McAllister coming away with a 5. Andy Robertson also gets a 3. He tried to block high, but faced with Hakimi's liveliness and Dembele's movement, he ran into the void and often had to be helped out by McAllister. Konate and Virgil van Dijk, the next biggest scorers really, with in that Liverpool squad, coming out with 6 each. But I mentioned Alisson, of course. And I think it's a bit of a surprise, actually, given the dominance that PSG had, that you look at some of the marks that their players came out with. Barcola just a 5, Kvaratskhelia just a 6, Dembele also a 6, because they really did cause Liverpool problems, particularly in that first half. Liverpool sorted it out to a certain extent in the second period and restricted PSG to more long-range efforts in that second half, but still, I mean, there was a great save from Doué by Alisson. What a save it was! It looked to be arrowing into the top corner when Doué hit one in from just outside the penalty area, and that really it was a bit of a wow moment actually inside the stadium. You could see the reaction from the PSG fans at that moment. So ultimately, the big decisive factor was the performances of the 2 goalkeepers. Donnarumma, that one opportunity, didn't really get it enough. The one save he had to make, I should say, didn't really get it enough on that effort from Harvey Elliott, and the ball ended up in the back of the net. So Liverpool thankful for their Brazilian goalkeeper, and that's why Virgil van Dijk, at the end of the game, when he spoke to us, described Alisson as the best in the world.
He's the best goalkeeper in the world. I've mentioned it obviously many times in the past, and he showed it again today on the highest stage. A lot of shots from distance, in my opinion, but he was there. He was there to save us, and we put ourselves in a good position for next week. But we all know that this is definitely far from over. They are an outstanding team with an outstanding manager, and they will definitely come to Liverpool with a belief that they can turn this around.
Yeah, remarkable night for Alisson. And Vinny, you can never trust those ratings, let's be honest with you. You never know what's going to come out, especially from the opposition side in particular. But Vinny, look, while we've got you, what are Liverpool's plans the next few days?
Yeah, it's funny, the keepers, isn't it? They're notorious for their marks at times. As I said, I think they've been overly harsh on PSG last night. But Liverpool, it's all about recovery now. And you heard Virgil Van Dijk say that this tie is far from over. Well, they continue to say that theme in the Premier League as well. And now they're still in Paris. They didn't fly back straight after the game. So today is about recovery, getting back home as well. And then, of course, ramping up preparations ahead of the weekend, because it's a quick turnaround with Southampton to come on Saturday, of course, and then again another quick turnaround for this second leg against Paris Saint-Germain at Anfield on Tuesday. It'll be a very different atmosphere to what Liverpool experienced last night with their fans right behind them. You would expect a different performance from Liverpool in terms of being able to dominate the ball a little bit more than they were able to last night against PSG, but so evenly balanced that tie now with Liverpool just that one goal advantage. And then once they've got that out of the way, of course, that first opportunity to deliver silverware this season with the League Cup final against Newcastle to come the following Sunday. So a really busy schedule, a pressurised situation in some ways for Liverpool, because the expectation is there not just to go through against PSG, despite what we saw last night, of course, but again to keep churning out the results in the Premier League, to take that next step towards a 20th league title, and then, of course, trying to take that step against Newcastle to deliver a first trophy of the season. Exciting times for Liverpool fans, but also that little bit of pressure on the players as well.
Yeah, exciting times for Liverpool. Exciting times for you this morning in Paris, Vinny. Good to speak to you.
Well, a big flashpoint in the game was the decision not to penalise Ibrahim Konate after he collided with Bradley Barcola.
Yeah, the referee saw no foul play on the pitch and VAR agreed, meaning no penalty and no red card to Konate.
If the referee would have if he would have blown his whistle, the VAR would not have overturned it. And now it was also clear for me that he should not have overturned it because it wasn't clearly wrong. And it is a big decision, that's true.
I felt like what I saw, that it was pretty, for me, I was convinced that it wasn't going to be, but listen, in the end of the day, it's the referee with the VAR that would have to make the decision, and it wasn't, so we carry on.
Now let's run you through the other results.